Dr. Paul Saladino shares with Aubrey Marcus how he overcame eczema using an elimination diet. Dr. Paul Saladino is the author of the book, The Carnivore Code.
I've been trying to really iterate in my own life because I've had autoimmune issues, which are resolved now, eczema and in connection asthma throughout my whole life. At times, my eczema was so severe doing jujitsu that I had it all over my elbows and knees and lower back. I used to call it my eczema tattoo, my tramp stamp. It was horrible. And I would get this like weeping eczema right at my belt line in my back. And so throughout all of that, I've been trying to understand, okay, I'm not driving a Porsche. There's something off about my diet, and it's made evident in this autoimmune syndrome that I have. I believe that this autoimmunity is connected with my diet. How can I modify my diet to improve this? And I've done basically everything. I did a vegan diet, so I was 7 months of raw vegan about 12 or 13 years ago. I lost 25 pounds of muscle. So, people that are watching this on video can see that I'm like 170 pounds. I'm 5'9.5". I was 140 to 145 pounds as a raw vegan, not healthy, horrible gas. And so then I was like, all right, I got paleo. I went to paleo, still had eczema, and then just started really iterating from paleo in my own journey and thinking, what do I need to cut out? We really need to start asking the questions like a Paleolithic diet does. How did our ancestors do it? These Paleolithic ideas seem to be reasonable. A lot of people find vast improvements just by cutting out grains like gluten containing grains, wheat, things like this, and then beans, which cause inordinate amounts of gastrointestinal problems for humans, and we can talk about why. But for me, that wasn't enough. It seemed to improve it, but I still had bad eczema. And then, then I have to go further down the rabbit hole and think, what else is left? What else is bad for me? Well, then there's an iteration, which is autoimmune paleo. That cuts out seeds and nuts. Okay, those might be triggering too. And then also it cuts out nightshades, right? And nightshades are these capsicum.
Sounds like poison.
Yeah. Well, they're Solanaceae. Nightshades is the Solanaceae genus, which includes a lot of things that we like. Tomatoes, that like barbecue sauce, hot peppers, potatoes. These are from a genus of plant, Solanaceae, that has solanine and other toxins. And a lot of people seem to react to this immunologically. It's a very recent addition to the human diet, evolutionarily. So again, you cut those out. And I still had eczema. All right, what the heck is left? Well, then I learned about oxalates, and it's like, well, what is high in oxalates? Well, beets, almonds, I'd already kind of cut those out. Spinach is high in oxalates. All right, let me cut out oxalates. And then still had eczema. And then you're like, what's left? Histamine? All right, what are the high histamine foods? Cut those out. What's left? Salicylates. Yeah, salicylates are in a lot of foods. They're in avocado. Yeah, but not everybody is sensitive to all of these different things, right? These are all plant chemicals.
Right.
Not everybody's sensitive to all of them, right? But they're in avocado, they're in, what else is salicylates? And they're in some berries, they're in almonds, there's things like this. There's a list in my book. I link to a list of high salicylate foods. And then you've got things like saponins, which are again, kind of in grains and nuts and seeds. They're kind of these soapy compounds, these detergent-like compounds, which can be problematic. But then you go further down the rabbit hole and there's more things. What about lectins? Oh shit. Lectins are carbohydrate binding proteins. Most of the high lectin foods are things I'd already cut out. Things like grains and beans and seeds are high lectin, but there's lectins in milk. There's lectins in peanuts. There's lectins in tomatoes. So there's lectins in all kinds of plants that can be problematic. And then you just keep going and you realize, whoa, there is a veritable panoply of plant toxins. And you think, oh, wait a minute. Plants don't want to get eaten. I get it. But it's the idea that like plants have myriad weapons that we never think about. And so many of the plants that we eat today are not really plants that indigenous people eat. Basically, the idea is plants just are like, get away from me. Humans, evolutionarily, probably we're not favoring plants. We don't have a lot of great detoxification mechanisms, easy to overwhelm. And some people get very sensitive to certain plant toxins based on their genetics. So this is my...
Dr. Saladino overcame his eczema by eating animal-based foods as an elimination diet. After becoming fully free of eczema, he began reintroducing some foods with no problems. See the details in his book, the carnivore code.